So that one I gotta say it's where I live. So I live right by USC, and most of the people who live in my apartment complex are also USC grad students or people associated with USC. And I've noticed already that like there's a lot of tension with how like black people and even Latinos get treated by USC's like student population. So for me, it's like me just actually just like every time I like walk into my building, and you have to understand you gotta have like a swipe card to get in the building. So like not anybody can just get in the building. People always very much interact with me as if I'm not supposed to be there. And especially if I like come from the laundry room, which is like, you know, a little place in the basement, it's like a tight space. Like I've definitely had people almost like jump back in fear just because, you know, I'm a big black guy, and like I think people have images that like black people are like dangerous or potentially violent. And so it's something that happens to me a lot in life, and something I've just realized comes from people's racial prejudice.
Okay. Thank
So a year ago, I've encountered an interaction with the police, like far out from like Inglewood and other, you know, low-income communities, and the police officer kind of like detained me and set me down because they thought I was up to no good in a sense, and it kind of made me think about like, you know, African Americans going outside of these low-income communities and guess like exploring and like seeing other parts of the world in a sense, and it kind of made me feel like. People in society that are like whites and are not minorities, they kind of like force black people to be in this box where you need to be in a certain area. And for me, it kind of made me feel like less of a person, or they think I'm like an animal, or I'm just like obnoxious and all this other stuff. So I kind of like looked at that situation differently, but I handled the situation properly by, you know, following instructions obviously and making sure I'm meeting his needs so I won't get any further consequences with my actions. So, yeah.
The time that I faced racial prejudice was recently. It was around, I would say, 12:30 p.m., and I was on my way to pick up a U-Haul van to move some appliances for my wife. And so I'm walking down the street, and I see this young lady just do a complete, I would say, not even a U-turn, but she made it a point to stay out of my way. And so it just struck me as very odd, you know, for her to literally make every attempt to get out or get on the other side of the road or the sidewalk. And so, you know, I laughed at it, but as I'm getting closer toward her and as she's moving away, I just decided to, you know, put the intention directly in her face. So I pretended like I was afraid of her. So I moved to the left as far as I could, you know, and it just struck me that that would happen. Well, it didn't strike me as it's strange because it's been happening to me since I was 15. People moving on the other side of the street. And I'm not talking about it being at 10 p.m. at night, but in broad daylight, 12 and busy street, and that's still happening. And so, you know, it doesn't surprise me. It's unfortunate, but it's been happening to me ever since I was a teenager.
Thank you.